Let's go to London. Diego Moyo Campos, senior analyst for the Americas for IHS Country Risk. Thank you for being with us here on France 24.
Always a pleasure.
What's your reaction to this mutiny, which appears to have been quickly nipped in the bud?
Well, it underlines growing discontent among mid-ranks, among junior ranks about the economic situation in the country, the intensification of shortages of food and basic goods, and the fact that Maduro's mandate is not being recognized internationally, is not being recognized domestically. And it seems that the military or the upper ranks of the military continue being the main obstacle for regime change in the country.
So we had the leader of the opposition, the Speaker of Parliament, Juan Guaido, stating on Twitter that this mutiny was a demonstration of the general feeling that reigns within the armed forces. Is there a bit of wishful thinking when you see how quickly this mutiny was snuffed?
Yes, absolutely. It's very difficult to really measure exactly which is the feeling within the armed forces. But certainly what this mid-rank have been interpreting is the wider feeling of Venezuelan society, which are struggling and which are being unable to go to free and fair elections to sort of determine their fate. So far, what we do know from the armed forces is that the upper ranks, that the high military command exercises significant political and economic influence over the government. We could say that Maduro leads a military government where the military controls key economic strategic sectors. They control oil services, they control ports, they control imports, and some factions of the high military command, not all, but some top military commanders are also involved in drug trafficking, in fuel smuggling, in illegal mining, in human trafficking and other activities. And they fear not only that their economic and political influence could be reverted, but also that if there were to be regime change, they could be held accountable for corruption, illicit activities, and indeed of human rights violations in repressing the population.
We remember last year, Diego Moyo Campos, that drone attack on the president during a speech that Nicolas Maduro was giving. How would you rate what we witnessed earlier with this mutiny? Is it on par with that?
It's absolutely, it's part of the same, and we expect similar events of that nature to continue happening in Venezuela as, again, mid-rank discontent from the military and the police continue increasing. We saw the drone attack last year, but we also saw a rogue police officer also attacking the Supreme Court of Justice at the Ministry of Interior. We also saw 2 assaults to 2 military barracks to steal weapons, and this is all part of that. Most of the people who were involved in those events at the moment have been imprisoned, have been killed, or are at the moment being tortured in the security services and in military penitentiaries. We think that this sort of thing will continue happening because despite the fact that at the upper ranks, at the high military command, the top military commanders continue supporting Maduro. At the middle, at the junior ranks, there's increasing discontent along with the general society of Venezuela in the same lines. But the problem is that lack of coordination, pure communication, and the fact that the counterintelligence military service continue being effective, continue sort of undermining the efforts of these mid-ranks to try to break the chain of command. And this is very important because what happened after the 10th of January changes the dynamics. It's not only the narrative, changes the dynamics of what's been happening in the country because the international community, the US, Canada, the EU, and most Latin American countries do not recognize Maduro's new 6-year mandate. And the only authority, the only institution they recognize in the country is the National Assembly, the Congress, which is controlled by the opposition and remains the only democratically elected institution in the country. So if that's the only democratic institution in the country, therefore, there's an argument that the chain of command of the military has been broken. This is the argument of the mid-ranks, the junior ranks, which state this mutiny today. And this is sort of the argument that diplomats and the international community are also holding, and that the key protest on the 23rd of January is going to be holding by civil society. We expect that the stronger the protest, the stronger repression, just as we saw today, that the stronger this type of reaction, the stronger it would be the reaction of the military still loyal to Maduro, which again have been infiltration by elements of international organized crime groups.
All right, we'll be watching Wednesday when that demonstration takes place. Diego Moyo Campos of IHS, many thanks for joining us from London.
Always a pleasure.